Hi, fellow traders. I hope you guys have had a great weekend. And I know I'm excited about the week coming up. For the first time in a few weeks, I'll be back up to full strength. And so I'm really excited about that. But what I'm going to share with you today is about the first 15 minutes or so of the weekly strategy session that we have every Sunday morning. That's part of our swing trading program. We also meet every morning around 9 o'clock to kind of get the day set up and go from there. So we have a lot of traders that are on the other side of the world, so to speak. They're in Hong Kong, New Zealand, Australia, and when the market opens, it's in the middle of the night for them. So they can only really trade the beginning, and a lot of them, the swing trades, the short-term swing trades that we do actually work out great for them. Because if the setup matures, it's going to do that at the open. Allows them to get in, set their stop, and profit target if they want to. And they can go to bed. Oftentimes they wake up, with a nice little profit. Or, they wake up and, see if they need to make any adjustments before market closes. And if not, they're ready for the open the next day. So it's been an exciting couple of months. So I'm going to share that with you as soon as I finish with the short message that I have for you guys. So what I want to share today is not underestimating the importance of building a solid foundation. We all know that the purpose of a foundation in anything is to hold up and hold together whatever the structure is above it. So in trading, for us, the foundation forms the base that will sustain us throughout our trading career. The strength and stability that we have, it lies in our foundation, the foundation that we build as we're learning how to trade. Now, you can have the best laid out trade plan with solid direction, but if you don't put the time in to build your foundation, it can come crashing, or it will come crashing down at some point. What a lot of traders do is, a lot of new traders, they get excited about these guys posting $1,000 days, multi-$1,000 days and weeks, and they feel, okay, if I just learn what they do, I can follow them in and out, and I can make the same amount of money. Well, it may work for a little bit. Just like if you build a house you shortcut the foundation and you build a house, the house will stand for a while. But eventually, Mother Nature is going to take its course. And, it's going to start eroding. And when things fall, if there's no foundation to hold you up, you're going to crash hard. And there will not be any fixing it. It'll be practically destroyed. So you have to put the time in to build your foundation. Now look at this house. Now this is a prime example of, these guys knew they were building a house on the beach. So if anything, you need to build it to code. You need to build that foundation to code, because it's going to need to withstand the wind, the rain, the water, all of these elements of Mother Nature. So, and this is what happens when you take the time and you build on a strong foundation. Here in this building, everything up under it washed out. But the foundation that it was built on, it was dug to the right depth. It was reinforced, it was strengthened. And here You had the whole, everything out from under it washed. It washed out from up under it. There are no cracks. This is still standing, straight and tall. So this is what we want to, this is how we want to still be standing when things happen. Now for traders, the market is kind of a volatile place. Just like the weather. The market can throw things at us, and if we don't have that solid foundation, we're going to crumble like this house. And it may be so that it can't be rebuilt, that we have to start all over again. But this time, we'll know that we have to build on the right foundation. Now, most of the issues that will surface during our trading, they actually could be related to our foundation. At different points in our trading, we're going to have cracks appear because we're going to not follow our trade plan. We're going to get a little bit comfortable and get a little slack with our risk management, a little slack with our money management, and they're going to have some cracks. Now, if we have a solid foundation, oftentimes it'll just require a little bit of patchwork, just going back and reviewing our rules and our processes and getting back on track. Now, sometimes we may get so far out of whack that we'll have to go back and reinforce that foundation. Start back at the bottom and work our way back up. But we'll have a base to work off of. Like in this case, it's just a matter of, replenishing what was up under here. We don't have to go back and dig and build a whole new foundation. And that's, you don't want to do that. Because if that happens, it's going to take more time, more money, and put you in even worse position. So that's what my focus is here at Average Joe Trading, is to try to help everybody build that foundation. That even if you do go off and start following somebody, if you fall, you're going to have that foundation to fall on. You're going to have something that you can say, well, hey, I was consistent doing this. I was making good progress. I was consistently getting better and better and better. I was following my rules. I was doing the things that I was supposed to do. And I was getting there. And it's only natural for people to want to, do better. But in this industry, you have to have that solid foundation. You got to have that first before you can go run off and start doing other things, because you have to have that so that you can come back to. So that's really my focus, and that's what I try to do when I help everybody. When we do mentoring, it's about building that foundation and building your trading career, on that solid foundation. Now, what I have for you guys today, the first 15-20 minutes of our swing trading, watch us build and set up sessions that we do on Sunday morning. And the program consists of learning these consistent strategies that I use for short-term swings. And oftentimes, and we do have some that actually use these in day trades as well, because a lot of times you can get 4 to 8% the first day. And that works out great, especially for guys that are working. They can't watch the market 24/7. There's a simple entry strategy, entry setup at the open. If it triggers, you enter. If it doesn't, you don't. And you set your stop. You can set a profit target, and you let it go. You don't have to sit there and watch the market and watch it tick for tick, because swing trades, you don't really micromanage anyway. But you learn those. It's in 7, live direct instruction classes. Now, whenever you sign up, you get immediate access to the recordings from the previous group. And you could always review that until the new group starts. But you have access to all of the recordings in every group that starts. We do have live mentoring because I'm there, live in the class. So, anytime you have a question, anytime you need to go over something, if we have to stay after class and go over it, then that's what we do. So you have that option. We do have this is the excerpt that you're going to see today, our weekly live watch list and strategy session. We have morning sessions in our swing room. It's just from 9 o'clock and through the first 30 minutes or so of the open, so that if there's setups that are triggering, we're all on the same page there. So I'll be sharing my swing account live stream once I get that set up. I've got a small swing account. As you know, if you're in the room, I had to make some changes due to some security issues that came about week before last. But the same thing I'm doing in the main chat room for day trading, we'll be doing that for swing trading. So any entries that we make, that morning, you'll be able to see it. Just like we do with the day trading. You also get access to the trading psychology workshop. That's extremely important. So every class that we do, you do have access to that. And everything is lifetime access, so you never have to spend another dime for anything that we do with swing trading. All we're doing is adding. We're not taking away. So the more we add, the more value you get, but you never really spend another dime. So all of this right now is $6.99. So if you have any questions, just make sure you email me or hit me up on Skype or send me a message, however you want to, and I'll be glad to talk to you about it. So sit back and relax and enjoy listening to the first part of our session this morning. Hey, good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing this beautiful Sunday morning? Now, after about 2 or 3 weeks, I finally feel back to normal. So I learned my lesson about self-diagnosing and self-medicating myself. I'm guessing it's never a good idea. That's why doctors get paid the big money. But we have a follow-up appointment this week, so looking forward to that. So this morning, this week, we marked the 30-year anniversary of a very interesting day that we had in the market. Back in, October 19th, 1987. Is what we refer to as Black Monday. That's when the stock markets all around the world crashed. Had that one day crash that kind of freaked everybody out. And it went down 23% in one day. But how did we in the market, mark that anniversary? The market made new highs on the 19th. So we celebrated the anniversary by making the new highs. And, everybody's still waiting for a crash like that to happen, because we've been on another remarkable bull run. I mean, we're 8.5 years into this massive bull run that we've been on, and you know, it just has people on edge. You know, some are like, hey, let's just keep riding this. This is good. You know, a lot of people are apprehensive. They're just holding on and not really, getting in the market. You're just kind of hanging out and waiting. So, I don't think we're going to have another crash like that. Not like we had back in Black Monday. But, we will get correction. The market does give us corrections. So we just have to be kind of prepared for that. And we can make money either way. So that's a good thing. So let's take a look at, and what we use is, to kind of gauge our week is the SPY. And, even though we've been in a bull market, the SPY has been inching up and then trading flat for a couple weeks. We get a little pullback and then we inch up some more, trade flat for a couple of weeks. Here we inched up and we've been kind of grinding up here. Can't say that we've been flat, but the volatility is just not here. Finally we got some good volume coming in, or not good volume, decent volume coming in on Thursday and Friday. But, we didn't see a whole lot of movement in a lot of stocks. But the good thing is we're coming into earnings season, and that usually makes for some good opportunities. Once we've been in earnings season a couple weeks, this being the first week, after next week, going into November, we should see some pretty good movement in the stocks that we look at. So it was, pretty good week. Pretty good week. The large cap market, it reached record highs for the 6 weeks in a week in a row. And that had to do with a lot of companies, more companies posting, good earnings. The Senate passed a budget resolution for next year. So all of these, things are really sparking it. Over the next 2 weeks, we're going to be looking at the bulk of the company earnings that we have. But, we'll see. We still have about 76% of the companies to report earnings, so we still got a long way to go here. But most are going to do it over the next 2 weeks. Alright, so let's take a look at our scan here. So the first one I like to look at is going to be our oversold scan. So we've got 8 popping up on here. AAOI. This is not as clean, as we would like. Their earnings are coming out on November 2nd. They did their usual deal, halted them. They halted for some big news about a month before earnings. This time, the market didn't bite, and we continued to sell off. Not a clean setup here. Ever since they started this manipulation game, this AAOI hasn't been a good friend. This one we made a lot of money on in around the end of March, April, and May going into the summer. But, once the summer hit and the manipulation started, this was just crazy. It was just crazy. Made a nice run up in July. I mean, real nice. But, by then I pretty much had written this thing off. Put in a nice flag here. And people who caught this, really banked on it. But, for me, sometimes I may get stubborn and set in my ways. And, once the stock starts trading irrationally, I pretty much leave it alone. And just move forward. But then sometimes you do see things like this. So for now, I just have to stick to my guns and make sure that I don't, break my rules. Because that's one of the things that really, really hurts us, is we start getting comfortable and then we start getting a little slack and we don't follow our rules, and then we start giving money back. And sometimes it starts a spiral that we just can't stop. So don't want to get into that deal. So AAOI I'm not going to put on my watch because it doesn't look that clean. BBBY doesn't look good either. There's the 20 is right here. There's really no range from here to the 20 at this point. And this stock just has been moving extremely slow. It's lost some of its ATR. At one point this thing was over $1. So not really feeling this. This one hasn't finished setting up, and again, it doesn't really have much room, so we're not gonna fool with it. HAIN, I'm gonna keep this on my watch. I think this has some more selling off to do, but it can bounce next week. So we will add this to, let me start typing these in now. Okay, so we'll be watching it. It's not ready yet, I don't believe. Earnings are behind us, and this is pretty much what we like. We traded a little bit more volume, but see, we haven't really started to make the turn yet. Looking at the MACD, we still have that downward momentum. We just broke through the oversold territory. So based on what it's done in the past, here and here, I will look for it to pull back a little bit further. But you want to, this has to be on my watch for this coming week. Yep, you're right, Omar. Yep, great minds think alike. So we'll keep that, we'll definitely have that one on my watch. Another one, NCR. See, this one reported earnings, and we had a huge gap down. But typically, we like to see this not recover so fast. This could give us a good move on Monday if we recover. We'll just have to wait and see. If it recovers, I mean, this thing had a solid bounce all the way back up to 34, and then we ended the day pulling back a point. We pulled back about half of what we ran up. So it'll be interesting to see what this thing does tomorrow. If it opens this could be a nice day trade. If we try to recover some of the gap, possibly back up to 36 before we roll over. What we will probably do tomorrow is I take a look and kind of see what's going on with it. Let's see, analyst rating network. See, NCR gives 45, giving 45. So, I mean, it's got some potential here. We just have to look and see what's going to come Monday. If it sets up, we've got a nice window to close if it does. So that'll be worth keeping on watch. This one, no go on it. I'm still short. My long-term short on this. I expected a bounce like this because this is all emotion. People got over emotional, sold off. I'm keeping up with this here because this is a local deal here in South Carolina. Even the governor has been weighing in on this about their practices and what they're doing. So I think this is going to continue to dump. You see the 20 here is still, down. We're still below the 200. This is still real weak. I am looking to take some at 45. That's my first target. Well, I'll take half off. But, I've been holding this for several weeks. So this one, I don't think is gonna bounce. I would not have any. I think this was a relief move, and we're kind of hanging up here, but I'm looking for it to roll over some more. All right, SVU. I'm looking at this. This is probably going to continue down. It's starting to slow down. We've had some huge sell-offs we had from earnings on Thursday. And most of the time, this is going to be over emotion. Big sell-off. So we're looking for the bounce. And, if we get the setup, if we get the signal this week, then this ought to be a good one. Right now, we're still selling off. I wouldn't jump on it just yet unless we have a solid opening that triggers tomorrow. We may be recovering a little bit. But I think we put in a couple more candles here as we slow down, going through that cycle. And then make the move. Just pretty much like this. How you see where we pull down and the candle started to slow down and get a little tight before we started to make that turn. I think that's what we're going to be looking at. But because this one is a larger, more pronounced downward move, we ought to get a little bit more bounce, nicer bounce off of this. So we'll put SUV on watch. And we've got VRT that is trying to slow down here. My concern with this is we don't really have a whole lot of room. I would have to size up on this, and I would not be comfortable with this. Sizing up, but we are slowing down, signaling that we may be making a turn here, but it's just too much in the way of this. So can't put this on my watch right now. So that's going to do it for this scan. the Oversold scan that we do. We'll be expecting more as the earnings season progresses. This is the hot scan when earnings season hits. This, and then we have, you know, the 52-week high, which we're going to look at next. And then, you know, the 20 EMA crossover, we're going to look at that this week. So, just to recap, we do have HAIN that we put on watch, NCR that we put on watch, and then SVU that we put on watch. SCG, I'm still holding, you know, that long term, waiting on it to, you know, roll back over and hit 45. You know, that's my first target on this thing. All right, so let's go to the 52-week high scan here.